Hey, I'm Russ from Pilates Guy, and following a few requests, I'm just going to make a short video on a pelvic reset exercise stretch we can do to release pressure around the hips, the pelvis and the lower back. So this can help to release the SI joint, which is what I find that I use it for, which releases pressure almost immediately from my lower back. Do remember I'm not a physio, just a Pilates teacher, so if you've got any specific problems, it's always worth speaking to a physio or even your doctor first. A little cheeky disclaimer there. But they're very gentle exercises. Just push it as much as you're comfortable going. There shouldn't be pain, but there should be a little bit of work and hopefully the release of some pressure. Also, as a side note, please ignore my hair. It's still locked down. Not been able to get to a barber's yet. So just really quickly then, we'll bring ourselves down onto the mat to start this little routine. There's a few things we'll need, but you can always find things from around the house to as an alternative. So, you know, Pilates or a yoga block, really good, but you could always use a book instead. And I'm going to use a band. People would use a yoga strap or something like that, but you could also use belt. And just, if you haven't got a block, you might want a cushion just to pop your head on, because we do perform these exercises on our backs. So we want those feet and knees hip distance apart, and we ideally want our neutral spine. In Pilates, we use pelvic tilts to get into neutral, but it's also a really good exercise for the pelvic reset and just moving the muscles around in the hips and the pelvis. So we're going to start with pelvic tilts. So keeping those feet and knees hip distance apart, feet flat on the floor, we're going to start a pelvic tilt here. So I want you to engage your core, pull your belly button down towards your spine, just to about 30% of your maximum. Try and engage those pelvic floor muscles. It's the feeling like you're trying not to go to the toilet, but you're desperate to. So you start to engage those muscles. So we've got that core engagement. From here, we'll take a nice deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, lifting your bum off the floor just a little way. We're just tucking the tailbone under, and then we're sticking the tailbone out, arching the back the other way, creating space under the lower back. And then we're going the other way, tucking the tailbone under, lifting the bum. Do squeeze your bum a little bit as well. And then we're going the other way, arching that back. Keep your core engaged, keep putting that belly button down and engaging that pelvic floor as well. And we're just doing a few pelvic tilts here. We're going to do 6 each way. Keeping it nice and controlled, head relaxed onto the cushion. If it isn't comfortable to lie on a small cushion, you can always have just the floor, keeping your neck nice and long as you go through these pelvic tilts. The NHS did a study actually, and they recommend this exercise for general back pain. Again, it's always worth speaking to physio or doctor, but this has really helped me. Pelvic tilts standing up or lying down, really good for back pain, generally. So once we've done 6 each way here, we're just going to relax down to the mat. Then we're going to take our band, our belt or our strap or whatever we've got, and we're going to just put the legs through that, bringing the band around, so just below the knees on the upper leg here. We're going to come back down onto the mat. Feet and knees hip distance apart. We're in neutral, that small amount of space under the back, not enough to get the hands all the way through. The core is engaged. So we're going to start off with the block or something with a similar thickness to the side of the block here. We're going to pop that between the knees. And what I want you to do is squeeze the knees together as tight as you can. You're going to hold that for about 12 seconds. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the rest of the body relaxed, shoulders flat down, back in neutral, core is engaged. We're squeezing those knees as tight as we can, 10 to 12 seconds, and then we release. We're going to take that block away. Then we're going to push our knees outwards, pushing against the resistance of the band in this case, or your belt or strap or whatever you've got there. So we're then pushing those knees outwards against that resistance as tight as we can. You're going to feel the work on the outside of the hips here. Those abductors are going to be working. Hip flexor muscles. Keep the core strong, keep neutral. We're pushing against that pressure for about 12 seconds. And we're going to release, and we're going to repeat with the block and the band and the block and the band. You can do that 3 times. Once you've done that, you can remove the band. So 3 times through, 10 to 12 seconds pushing against the band, 10 to 12 seconds squeezing against the block. We're going to come back down onto our backs. We're going to use the block again. We're going to take it so it's the long way, and we're going to pop that between the knees. So you want the feet to stay hip distance apart. The knees are going to go slightly wider against that block there. And what I want you to do from here, staying in neutral, core strong, is squeeze your knees into that block as hard as you can. You're going to feel the inside of the hips working really hard here. So squeeze those knees together nice and tight. Once you've got a nice tight squeeze there, we're going to start a little rotation through the lower back. So your back stays down, your core stays engaged. We're just let those knees tip over to one side, keeping the feet on the floor. And then we're going to come back to the middle. Let the arms come out of the way. Keep those shoulders on the mat, squeezing those knees together, letting them tip over from side to side. And you're just going to do 5 times each way. So you're just getting a little stretch through the back here, while squeezing those knees as tight as you can together, really, really tightly. And we'll do 5 of these each side. Keep that core engaged, shoulders staying back and down on the mat. Once you've done those, you're going to take the block away. We don't need that now. You're going to straighten one leg out and you're going to bring the other leg in towards you. You're going to interlink the fingers, hold that knee, nice deep breath in. And then we breathe out as we pull that knee in towards the chest. Just pull that knee in, counting to 10 or 12 seconds, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, just pulling that knee in towards the chest, just as far as you comfortably can. Once you've done 10 or 12 seconds, just release that leg down. But then I want you to bring that same leg back in. This time, we're going to push the knee back into the hands for 10 to 12 seconds. So you're going to push the knee into the hands, but you're going to pull back with the hands and you're just going to hold it there with that tension. Breathing all the time. Keep the core slightly engaged. Don't let the back change position. Push the knee into the hands. Pull the hands back into the knee. 10 or 12 seconds and we release. And you're going to do that 3 more times through, and then you do that on the other leg. So it's pulling the knee in and just stretching, breathing for 10 to 12 seconds, release. Bring it back in, 10 to 12 seconds, creating tension between the knee and the hands, so it's quite hard work. And then you release, and you do that 3 times through, and then you do that on the other leg. So once you've done those, hopefully you find that you are feeling a little bit better. You might get pops and feelings like that in the lower back, which will, for me, I get a pop in my lower back, which is the release of my SI joint, which makes it feel like pressure has immediately been released from my lower back. But as I said, if you've got any specific problems going on there, ongoing problems, it's definitely worth speaking to a physio. I can recommend really good physio if you wanted to get in touch. But do speak to your physios or doctors if there's anything more serious going on. But I hope that helps. Hopefully it relieves some pressure, helps to sort of rebalance around the pelvis. Thanks very much for watching the video, and get in touch if you've got any questions or any feedback at all. Thank you.